Welcome back to Hot Rod Guy Garage, and this is going to be another episode on the 91 Mustang GT that's at the shop. Things noted is Sunday, and I usually do not work on Sundays. But I want to flip the camera around, and I want to show you what I got going on today. Alright guys, now here's a point where most people get scared. We're building an EFI harness for this car. This is a Microsquirt ECM with the universal 8-foot harness. And if you don't know, your Microsquirt, it's a fairly small ECM. Very compact size. They have a lot of features, guys. And on something like this, it is way better than a stock ECM. Really, it's a lot better than a Holley Sniper. You have a lot more things you can do with it. Say you want to run Toyota sensors on this Ford, you can. This one's going to run all GM sensors. So basically what I've done this morning, I've come in here, I've split my harness apart for the stuff for the inside leg and the stuff for the outside leg. And I kind of pulled my harness up enough for where I'm going to mount it in the car. That way I have plenty of kind of free range in there. So I'm going to come up the firewall and I'm going to come across probably on the bottom side down here. So what I've done, I've segmented off my sensors in the harness where they come out. You know, my map sensor, my AT, my TPS, my coolant temp, and the ignition stuff. It's all segmented off. So what I'm going to do now is all that segmented off. I'm going to take this harness to the house and we'll pick up there here in just a little while. We'll pick up there, I'm going to solder pigtails on it and add some power wires for the injector powers. You know, tie in our sensor grounds and stuff. And all that good stuff that we have to have, along with the TFI wiring. This stuff's not really scary, guys. There's lots of information out there. The Mega Manual has a bunch of information on wiring this up to various ignitions, various sensors, and stuff. For a good, cheap budget EFI system, the Microsquirt stuff is the way to go. Like I said before, they're loaded with features. Sometimes it takes a little work to do that. If you revert back to my Geo series, Project Freetro has one of these controlling a Holley Sniper. And if you remember back to this series, this car also had a Holley Sniper on it. But this right here, setting this car back up this way, will make more power. So that's what we're going to do. So basically, guys, that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to bring y'all along for some of the harness build. I'll show you what I end up with when I'm done. I am not going to lube this harness yet. I am going to solder up all our connections. I'm going to wrap some of it with some tape. And then we'll come back in. I'll lay it out in the car. Make sure I didn't screw anything up in the process. I'll lay it out in the car. Then I'll solder it. You know, well, not solder. You know. But I'll loom it up. And this stuff is not rocket science. Like I said before, there's tons of information out there. A lot of people are scared of the MS-based stuff. It's not no different than tuning Holley. It's not no different than tuning with HP tuners. It's just a little different layout. Super simple stuff, guys. It's like EFI for little tykes. So if you get a little common tuning knowledge, you understand how a car motor runs and what it takes to make it run, you can install and tune one of these systems. So that said, let's load up and head to the house. And alright, guys. Anytime that you're doing any kind of wiring work, you always want to make sure that you solder all your connections, especially when building the FI harness. That's currently what I'm doing. I'll flip the camera around. I'll let y'all watch along a little bit. I'm letting the soldering iron heat up. I'm doing these one pigtail at a time. Just segmenting it back off of my harness where I've marked it before. So, super important stuff. You just want to go slow. Make sure you got everything correct as you go. That way, when you put it on the car, you don't have no issues. Alright guys, it's about 2.5 hours later. I've got the harness pretty much roughed in on the engine side. I'll kind of flip it around and show you where I'm at. Keep in mind the electrical tape is just to bundle wires together until I can loom it. I want to lay it back out on the car, make sure all our wire lengths are correct, and then we go from there. So I'll flip it around. So ignore all the junk under my table here. I got our TFI connector connected, our injector plugs for one bank, our injector plugs for the other bank, our coolant temp sensors wired in, our TPS, our IAT, and our map sensor. Literally guys, that's all you gotta have to run one of these. You can use your ignition of choice. Car already had a TFI set up in it, so I repinned the connector, hooked the wires up, and made this little sub harness run over to the negative side of the coolant to a body ground. And now I get to work all the way around. I get to go over here and work on the car side. I've got to add some relays, I've got to add some fuses. If you get a little small fuse block, it's a good place to use it. So I'm gonna get started on that. And alright guys, I've got the harness mostly finished up. I added 2 relays, one for the fuel pump, one for the ECM system and the fuel injectors. I will put a fuse on our battery and our switch wires here. These wires are for optional things like electronic boost control and launch control and flat shift stuff, along with a couple other programmable outputs. So basically our ECM is going to be here. This section of wire right here will run outside the car along the firewall. It'll catch the map sensor, catch IAT, then it branches off to both banks of fuel injectors, the coolant temp sensor, the TPS, and we come up through here, and this is our coil negative and the ground for the TFI, and our TFI ignition plug is right there. I've got to jump the power wire to the profile ignition pickup wire with a 1000 ohm quarter watt resistor. Couldn't find one local today, so I'm gonna have to hunt for one in the morning, get that put in there, and then I can mock this harness up in the car and see how we're going. So basically guys, I've got about 3.5 to 4 hours in this harness. 30 minutes of that was me running around town trying to find a resistor, which I didn't have no luck today, which it is Sunday. So wiring don't have to be scary when you're doing this stuff. Just take your time, read your instructions real well, make sure to solder all your connections and heat shrink them, and make sure you lay your stuff out. But that's pretty much going to be it for this video today. Sorry for the glare around the lights. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, and most importantly, subscribe. Even though we have over 1,000 subscribers, we're still lacking in watch hours. So if you'll take a moment, watch a few videos, I would greatly appreciate it. And until the next episode of the 91 Mustang GT, we'll see you at the next one.